Hello there, kings, queens, everything in between. This is a video I'm making as a response to someone that asked the question in one of my videos is, what's my Iron Bear Moze build? And I will show you the gear you need for it, which is, honestly, you don't need any gear to run this build except maybe a legendary class mod that I'm going to show you how to get. And then try and find an anointment that has minigun damage increase, because you're not even going to be using these guns. I literally have it on a level 56 Jericho that I don't use. And this should get you through Mayhem 11 pretty easily to just grind more and more gear to really make the character you want. But for the most part, I will show you the build and all that stuff and where to get the class mod. So to get this class mod, what you're going to want to do is talk to Ava or go to Ava's room, and you will find a quest. You have to have the director's cut edition of this game to get these quests. It's called the Mysterious Lair quests, and after the third Mysterious Lair quest, it will take you to Pandora and a new location, and you will come to a room that looks like this, and you will fight the boss called Bliskin. I don't know, but if you kill the boss up here, he will have a chance to drop that class mod, and it is for the minigun damage. And try to get the variant that has the skill point in feature creep, because if you look at that Iron Bear damage resistance, that's absolutely insane. But you don't need it. Any class mod will work. I think the green monster with, I believe you get that from the Handsome Jackpot DLC. That's a pretty solid one. Or the Bear Trooper class mod's good for just fuel use and duration if you really want to stay in Iron Bear. But I found the anointment that gives minigun damage, so long as I'm holding this gun and go into Iron Bear, it gives me even more damage. So my minigun's hitting for around 5 to 6 million damage per hit. And the thing about Iron Bear as well is, if you look, I'm at Mayhem 11. Activating your skill, Iron Bear's health will scale with the Mayhem level you're on. So to start off with this build, I'm gonna just show you the skills. I'm not gonna like go in depth with all of them, because you guys can, read it yourself and mix and match. But some keynotes I want you guys to know is miniguns is what I'm using for my main weapons. You guys can use any weapon, but miniguns, in my opinion, are just more accurate, work the best, and do the most damage and least amount of fuel. So I recommend getting both miniguns. Make sure one has let off some steam on your main hand. That's whatever trigger you put that on. That's your like high damage. It's gonna drain most of your fuel. More fuel, but do more damage. And then I get General Winter on the offhand because the reduced heat and fuel drain is good. Anytime you freeze an enemy, it's gonna give you a lot of fuel back and drain little to no fuel when you use it. So if you're at like the halfway, maybe a little bit less than that on fuel, I recommend just using the cryo minigun to regain a lot of your fuel, because there are times where I'll be low and I just freeze a couple enemies and I'm back at full fuel again, and you're pretty much never gonna die. It takes, you gotta try to die to really die in this build. You will not die. You're invincible. And your health scales with the Mayhem level, so you're pretty good. So the class mod I'm using I showed, but the skills I recommend is Daka Bear. It's free damage, and you can have an online friend hop in. It's okay. I think it's a great concept. It's really good, but free damage. Another one I recommend is Specialist Bear. Try and get this, because since you're using 2 miniguns, that's just insane damage. I also recommend getting at almost all of these skills. I would not trade really any of them out. They're just so good. Feature creep, getting the class mod with the extra skill point gives you insane damage resistance where you're just double immortal. But all these skills I have maxed out. Another one is I recommend getting Auto Bear. You don't have to, but when it ends, you just still have them alive for a little bit longer to help protect you and deal damage. I did put 1 point in Grizzled. You don't have to, but the 1 point in Grizzled just gives you more cooldown time whenever you kill an enemy, which I think is really good. And Security Bear, more damage mitigation for 1 point, really worth it. And Armored Infantry, you don't need this skill. You can take these 5 points out and put it anywhere you want to. But I think I got pretty much every skill in the game, in my opinion, that's just Iron Bear focused. That really just makes your Iron Bear do so much damage, and it's just really good. So feel free to just mix and match different guns and gear if you guys want to, because like I said, all these guns are pretty garbage, honestly. I'm using them mainly for the anointments they have, and then the class mod's really the only thing you have to worry about on this build, and you can use the green monster from the Handsome Jackpot DLC. Who's texting me while I'm recording? Okay, anyways. Or Bear Trooper. Bear Trooper is just in the base game. You probably have some lying around if you've played Moze a while. So any of these work. Feel free to use any of them, but if you really just want that extra damage, the heat exchanger is the way to go.